Hello everyone, I'm back with part 2 of layers and lace. Remember, those are the two words that I want you to remember. I think they are the most essential techniques for achieving the shabby style in your junk journals. So remember, we're working on layers and lace and soft dimension as well. So by soft dimension, I mean things like ribbons and pretty fibers and soft laces and dimension. I'm going to show you how to achieve some dimension a little later, but I wanted to finish talking about layers, right? So if you just remember, let me put this to the side and make some room, because I'm going to need some room. So we'll just keep kind of pushing things over here. So I want to show you how just using layers can achieve such a pretty shabby look. Okay, so let's just take, this is just another piece of that vintage wallpaper. And all I've done is just folded it over to make a little journaling card. And I've just layered this little piece of ephemera on top in just this kind of a little tuck, so you can tuck a little something under there. And on the inside, you can do the same thing with just another little piece of ephemera. I cut from the cluster kit from Cara Brandon that I showed you the other day. And I'm just going to tuck that in there. And you'll notice that I've done a little stamping here. I've created some depth with the chalks in the background, the butterfly motif, which is very shabby, a little bit of script, which also just helps that be a little bit shabby. So we'll put that in there, close it up, and then you've got this on the back. I'm going to link a video on how to sand the cards, the paint chips, so that creates a blank space for writing. But there's a nice shabby piece of ephemera, just plain layers. Even if you're not a lace kind of girl, you can make a shabby tag just by using some of the motifs that we talked about earlier on the list. So remember, I talked about French labels and postage stamps. So I'm just going to make a very simple tag by gluing this label just here on the side of the tag. And you can see that I've kind of roughed it up a little bit, torn it and crinkled it. And then I'm going to put this postage stamp. I'm just going to layer that here at the side. Okay, and that just makes a really effective tag. And here let's just put a little bit of soft dimension on here as well. And then that's going to be very shabby. Okay. So what we want to do, I'm just going to tie, I'm not going to tie a big thick bow. I'm just going to do what I call a half bow. And just put one side of the bow on. And you can trim those how you like. I just want to create a little topper for that bow. There, I think that's pretty. So let's do the same thing with this one. So I'm going to put down, it's another piece of that note paper that someone has used to make mathematical notes. So we're just going to layer this up here. So we'll put this on this side. And then this is another label. And labels of all kinds are really popular to use in Shabby Chic journals. So I especially like these perfume type. This is for sewing machine oil, but perfume labels are sometimes curved on the top. Put it further down. There we go. Is that on straight? Okay, and then I have just this pretty little, it's got some pink in there and red and gold. This is a cigar label, kind of across here. There we go. Okay, now we need a topper on this one. I could use this lace. I think I like the lace. So let's just take a piece of this. All right, I think we need a little bit of distressing. Okay. So those two are just very simple layered tags, but I think very effective, and in the journal they will look pretty. This one was easy enough to do. It just is some watercolor paper, and I've embossed it with this heavy floral motif. This is one of the Tim Holtz 3D embossers. And in order to kind of keep it from ripping and to make a space for journaling, then I've just put a piece of coffee dye paper on the back, kind of distress that corner. And that makes a really nice kind of dimensional tag to go in the Shabby journal. Now I have these 3 layer tags, and this is just a book page, vintage book page. It's kind of fragile, but I think it will hold up well enough. And I just have a little piece of dictionary, a little vintage ticket, and just a torn piece of lace. And I'm just going to make a little cluster here, a little decoration there. Put that just kind of across the top. Very good. Now this whole inside is good for journaling. So there's a little piece. I want to glue down this book page. So I'm leaving the top rough, and then this is just going to fold to the back. And then this is one of those pieces of heavy embossed paper. We'll put that there. And then I just have a sticker. So this is just building up layers. Layers with texture on them. I am going to round the bottom corners because that will help it slide in and out of the pocket easier. The corners won't catch. And one final journal card here. Same thing, just little pieces of that same fly leaf from the book. And this is just a pretty image of a young woman that's very shabby. This was a digital. Digital images can come in really handy, as I mentioned before, when you need an image that is something. So much of the time in our junk journaling, we just have to take what images, we have from the ephemera that we save and collect. But And it's fun, you know, it's really fun to just figure out how to make those work the way we want them to work. And then I'm going to put this one kind of on the back, just as a little scrap. It's just got those written notes there. And then, again, I have another sticker. If we can't find the right images, then we can always go to digital sources and usually find just what we need, which is just so handy. And I'm going to put that kind of right there. Let me sweep that off. Yeah, and then I don't know, I kind of thought I was going to put that there, but it repeats that. I will look for another little something, a word or a phrase. So I will put it here. And then we'll maybe look for a word or a little tiny label. Labels are so shabby. Hold on 1 minute. I'm just going to bring my little number stamp, and we can always count on Tim Holtz to give us a little tiny piece of shabby something. There we go. I like that. That looks good. And then here on the back, I think we need another little piece. Okay. I like that. Okay, that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 pieces of ephemera to stuff in the pockets. This next part is also really fun. I want to show you how to use some other pieces of lace and buttons. I think we've got what we need. So I just have taken a piece of lace from when I trimmed what I put on the page in the journal and added a little bit of this chiffon fabric and a couple of little buttons, vintage buttons, and that's just a sweet little dangle to go on the side. I have created this little tiny collage on one of those little tiny tags that you get on things in the thrift store. And I've just put a little stamp and some fiber and this flower, and then that will just dangle. Now let me show you what, oh, here's another one, just a little snippet that can go on something, you know, to decorate. So let me see, we could take this ribbon and our needle and thread and just pick up one of these vintage buttons, preferably a thin one, a small one maybe. Yeah, okay. So that is going to tack that down and hopefully kind of pull it a little, okay? And then we'll put the button on, and I'm going to come up and clip that from behind. So there's just a little tiny embellishment that, again, will fit almost anywhere. It will increase the shabbiness of the journal. So that gives us, there's 4 of those. Oh, I also wanted to show you how you can use trim. And these are clamps, jewelry ribbon clamps. And you can find those in the jewelry findings, what they call findings. I got them in Hobby Lobby. So I'm just going to fold that down, and then you slide that over both ends, both of the raw ends. And then when you get it all in there, then you take the flat part of the pliers and you just squeeze it together, and that clamps the ribbon inside, and it's pretty secure in there. And then you can take a bow pin and just thread that on there with maybe another button. Okay, so there's some charms and just some embellishments. So look around in your stash and see what you have that might look kind of shabby, and make some little tiny embellishments as well. Thanks for being with me for this part 2. We have 2 more decorative videos coming up for the Shabby Journal. I want to show you some mixed media, kind of distressed painting kinds of things. And also I want to do the cover panel with you. So that's still ahead. Thanks for being with me, and we'll see you again with a new Shabby project.